has taken a brave stand to stand up against America, presumably to stand up for the rights of one Jamaican, and some fear that as a result he is imperiling 2.7 million people by standing up for the rights, presumably, of one Jamaican. How do you view the argument that he is really standing up for the constitutional rights of one Jamaican whose rights have been violated by the United States in obtaining evidence against him, as he says, illegally?
I would be far more comfortable if I think that the Prime Minister understood what Mr. Dudus Coke's constitutional rights are. I don't think he understands them. I personally do not think that he understands what those constitutional rights are, because I think the position that he's taking are actually directly in contravention of Mr. Coke's rights. Mr. Coke needs an experienced attorney, both in Jamaica and the United States, to handle his situation. It is in his interest, I think, to be arrested so that this process can start, so that he can have his lawyers formally present before the Jamaican courts what the arguments are that he has.
So the Prime Minister, essentially, if I'm hearing it correctly, could essentially be denying him of that.
Of course he's denying him his rights. He is denying him his rights because what you have is a grand jury that has indicted him that will not go away, and he is deliberately postponing the process. And until the process starts, Mr. Coke has no standing to assert his constitutional rights. And hopefully, with all of the previous, or with some of the previous Shower Posse defendants, deals have been worked. Good deals have been worked.
Plea bargains.
What's that?
Plea bargains.
Yes, deals. That's what they are. They're deals. They're plea bargains. They are plea arrangements. They are contracts where these individuals are able to spend a fairly short period of time and return to their country abode. And I'm not saying that any such deal is possible for Mr. Coke. I'm just saying that until his constitutional rights start being processed, there can be no discussion. Also, it's sad, but there is the possibility that there may be individuals who are threatened by the fact that Mr. Coke might be extradited and are threatened about what he might say when he comes to the United States. Do those individuals have Mr. Coke's interests in their do they have his best interests at heart?
Could the U.S. kidnap Mr. Coke if they can't get him from the government? Or through the judicial system?
Can they do so? America is the most powerful country in the world.
They would.
When you ask me, could they do that?
No. Do you think they would do that?
Well, Mr. Coke is a foreign policy target for the United States now. I would hope that the Coke matter would be resolved by lawyers, by officials from the governments talking to each other. It is my hope, as lawyers, that is how we would prefer legal issues be resolved, between lawyers before court, with both countries observing their obligations under the treaty.
But do you think the U.S. would go the distance of kidnapping him if they can't get him to this means?
You ask me to speculate.
Based on your experience of this thing, because you've covered extradition cases for quite a bit of time.
There have been in the past, in Jamaica, there have been abductions of known felons. That has occurred in the past. Again, the hope is that with the current degree of cooperation between the government of Jamaica and the government of the United States, there will be no need for a kidnapping, because the extradition process should work, despite the fact that the Prime Minister has thrown a spanner into the engine of the extradition process. It is still the hope, I think, from lawyers in both jurisdictions, that the extradition process will work.
Yes.
But if you continue to destroy the extradition process, then you will have the law enforcement minds who will say, well, we need Mr. Coke, we need for him to sit for trial here in New York, and you lawyers are not able to achieve it.
So they might go for him.
Well, you can deduce what you wish from what I just said.
We've been speaking with Professor of Law here at the University of Miami School of Law, Professor David Rowe, a Jamaican-born attorney who has been speaking very much on this issue of the extradition of Christopher Dudus Coke and the request by the United States government. When we come back, more discussions right here on Direct. We're wanting to know the possibility of a full-scale diplomatic row between Kingston and Washington over the issue. Stay with us.